DJ PK, and we're joined now by Bronco Mendenhall, head coach of the Utah State Aggies. Bronco, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Do you just sleep like a baby after that, Bronco? I mean, not just 41-0. Plus, you're wearing what looks like oven. I mean, it looks like it must have been really cold. It looked like that's something you'd take a casserole out of the oven with, and you catch the ball, Bronco. I mean, you had a night from start to finish.
Yeah, the oven mitts and the ball catch, that's the degree of difficulty is pretty
high.
Just a great night for our team. They prepared really well, played well from start to finish, executed in all three phases, generating momentum really at the most critical time of the year. So really fun.
We often hear that plays are scripted offensively, the first 10 or 15 or whatever it might be. And so with that in mind, did you guys know that you'd be able to have success against Nevada immediately through the air?
You know, we didn't. That was the plan. That was the intent. Again, Nevada was a team, and quite frankly, we were preparing for a game like the rest of their games that had gone right down to the very end and been, a 1, 2, or 3 point game. Our ability to convert third downs in between moving the ball in explosive plays and our ability to get off the field and create turnovers, those two things really just kind of made the difference in the game. So, yes, our intent was to throw the ball. We had a good plan for their coverage plan and their coverage schemes, executing it, but especially third downs. I thought that was the difference.
You got big plays, and Hamblin had the pick six. Is he a Utah Tech transfer?
He is, and just been a really consistent player for us from the beginning, tall and long, 6'5", and maybe 200 pounds, maybe 205, but has been very consistent from the beginning of the year. So he led the team in tackles on Saturday night. He had an interception for a touchdown. He also recovered a fumble down on the 1 yard line, had a sack. So, one of the positive things, again, most of the time when you hear transfer portal, it's provided in a negative context. But there are also times where a player develops late. He continues to grow, and he has an opportunity for a different level or more experience. And sometimes a place just hasn't worked out for a given individual. And so the flexibility they have now to find the right fit, I can't say it's all negative. It feels that way if you lose a player, but there are plenty that I think are benefiting and having a positive experience from a new place.
Given that this is your first year, there's still a learning curve involved with you, with them with you as far as your team goes. And the fact that you blew out Nevada, I would think, gave you an opportunity to play some of the younger kids. How important is it for you and your coaches to get a look at these guys in game situations versus practice?
Yeah, essential, especially as the evaluation and recruiting and retention part of the season is coming up. And for that many players to play from about the 8-minute mark on in the third quarter gave us a really nice sampling of what we thought some players were and where they are in the program, and then actually where they were. There were a few surprises, kids that played beyond maybe where we thought they were, and then some that we thought would actually perform better. And a quarter and a half is a significant number of snaps, basically with all of your backups playing. And so great. Well, the first part is just how exciting it is for them to play and for us to watch them play and enjoy playing the game and getting some reward for all the practice work. So I think that's first. And then the evaluation part, I think, is the supplementary part.
We're getting pretty late in the season here, but after Hawaii absolutely smoked San Diego State, it looks like there's 7 teams who can tell themselves, hey, we're 3 weeks away. We do well these next 3 weeks. We're in the conference championship game. How surprised were you when you saw that score, and is that something you mentioned to your team, or win a road game and get bowl eligible first things first?
More of the second. Everyone follows anyway, and as I've been sharing, maybe on this with you guys as well as the rest, this league is just, it's even, and they're the initial perceptions, the initial records. But as I've just sensed the league and been watching the film, going to Hawaii to play, that's a tough thing. And San Diego State was really good on defense. They've been scoring a lot, and they go and get beat 38-6. It's a significant challenge. You watch Hawaii leave the island, come to San Jose, and it didn't even look like the same team. And so there are still significant challenges, but it's fun because every game we have remaining, there's a ton riding on it, which is an awesome thing that the kids and the programs around this league are going to be battling all the way through Thanksgiving. And I don't think, well, there might be those that say they can predict what's going to happen. I don't see it. We have as good a chance as anybody.
And that first up, as far as the stretch run here, is Saturday, 5 o'clock in Vegas against UNLV, which, had got off to the great start, 6-0, and then lost a couple of ball games. Then they come back and they handle Colorado State easily. As I look at this team and have seen them play a few times, they're very explosive offensively. Even in their losses, they're still scoring a lot of points. So it looks like I don't know if it's the most stern or sternest test for your defense, but certainly they present a big challenge from the offensive perspective against your defense.
Yeah, they do, and great that we played Texas A&M and Vanderbilt on the road. So yes, they're explosive. Yes, they're dynamic. They're leading our league in scoring. To say we haven't seen similar or had similar experiences isn't accurate. So, yeah. They're also, on the other side of the ball, last in the league in scoring defense. So it's a really unique team where they're scoring the most in the league, and then they're giving up the most in the league. So I think there's the volatility. They come from behind to beat Idaho State. They rally at the very last second to beat Air Force. New Mexico goes there and wins, 40-35. So it's 4 quarters of football, and where it goes from there, I don't know. But it's going to be, you play the play and reset, you play the next play and reset, and you do it as hard as you can all the way to the end, and someone's going to win. So we're looking forward to it.
They have given up just a ton of points. Is it more tackling? Is it are they especially vulnerable to the run to the pass? What is the major problem? Because there's problems.
That there is, and most of the time when points are yielded to that level, it always has to go through the secondary, right? It's the last layer of defense, run or pass. And so there's just been some inconsistencies there and some concentration plays and a number of big plays every game that seem to lead to points. So that certainly capable, just have lacked consistency. And the next part, I think, that's probably worth framing is when you have an offense that's scoring that many points, the opposite sides are more wide open against you because they know they're going to have to match scores to win. And so they're also probably defending more explosive type of plays at a higher level than maybe some other teams.
I think you faced a Dan Mullen team, at least when he was a coordinator, haven't you?
Yeah, so my last coaching experience against Dan Mullen was in the Orange Bowl. I was at Virginia and he was at Florida. And we were a score short. We tried an onside kick at the end to try to get it to a final drive. But then certainly when he was at Utah and I was at BYU.
Right.
But last experiences was in the Orange Bowl.
So when a guy like him has a long track record, as you do, when you study his current position, have you been able to develop a pattern of what guys like to do when they have a number of years in this business?
Sure. There's a starting point, and there's a base philosophy, and there's trends and tendencies. When there's other coordinators and coaches that now are working for him, you can see offshoots here and there, but there's still a similar, approach and identity. And again, he's had success offensively throughout most of his career. My side has been the opposite. But I would say, yeah, there's a signature that permeates the program that he's running.
Do you challenge the kids about the 0-4 road record and throw it out there as kind of this is a question of toughness and mental toughness, or is that just getting too in the weeds and it's more about each individual play and lining up the right way, blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, much more of that. You have to just acknowledge the brutal fact of we're 0-4 on the road, and then if you just divide 0-4 into like 4 chapters of a book, traveling to Texas A&M, well, they're pretty good.
Yeah, right.
Traveling to Vanderbilt, they're not bad. Get on the plane and go to Hawaii. Well, it appears they got a pretty good team, and that's a tough place to go. And then I don't even know how to describe returning to New Mexico and what that was like. So there's been unique challenges of the 4, by the way, nobody cares, right? I mean, that's still, we haven't won on the road, and none of those are excuses. But we're framing it in context, as we will with this one. They're each their own chapter. We haven't cracked the code yet. I haven't helped this team crack the code yet of just being fiercely execution sound and resilient and confident and playing great football on the road. And conversely, Utah State hasn't been 5-0 at home since 2018. Those are things I don't look up, right? In the press conference, they say stuff like that. And I remember, okay. So we're doing a really nice job there. But that's part of the discovery process that I'm learning and trying to help this team and program with. And I'm really looking forward for this next chance to do something about it.
You made a comment a few minutes earlier about this is the time of season where you're looking at roster retention and also recruiting, and the rules have changed so dramatically since when you first got into coaching to where it is now. What are your thoughts on having to do all that at a time when the most important thing is charged to win the next game?
Yeah, it's a really unique landscape. I never imagined some of the conversations that I'm having and some of the circumstances surrounding retaining our own roster are really interesting. And maybe in a past life, at a different stage in my career, I would have treated it differently. But it is part of now what it is. So our second bye was prior to this last game, and I met with, I think there's 18 players that I met with in terms of their role moving forward and what that might look like, and just gauging and connecting and predicting, and quite frankly, recruiting to retain members of our own team. Never imagined that would be part of the process, but really that's the landscape now, and they need to know what I truly think and vice versa. And there was a brief window during the bye week to do that before we just settled down back into game week to play, and I framed it like that to them. I just said, hey, now listen, there's a window here, so let's have this conversation, and then for everyone in the organization, we need to flip the switch starting, Monday and back into game week and go. So I did that. It's a very unique experience because really the ideal is the players are pushing back so hard to stay in and be part of team first and the culture and the purpose and all the things you're doing. But there's an individual component now and a profit and a financial component now that is just part of the game.
So do you think these conversations you're having, Bronco, are like a starting point, or do you assume at this point that some third-party agent, whoever, high school coach, has reached out and you're addressing something that was already on the table and that the player was already thinking about?
Yeah, it's varied. It's varied by player, but there's absolutely a ton of the second. So there's tampering, no question. It's against the rules, but the rules aren't enforced. Every organization has basically the roster of the next tier down of players that they want, that they've contacted while we're still playing. We've got 3 more games left, but players have been reached out to. There's some phantom hotline that you're supposed to be able to call where something happens, which that's just, it's just nonsense.
Phantom hotline?
Telling it like it is, as usual.
Phantom hotline. I should be able to call it
the reality is programs with as much money as they have will take who they want in the manner that's supposed to be illegal but not. And third parties, sometimes high school coaches, sometimes handlers, whatever we call them, sometimes 7-on-7 coaches. Most are smart enough to stay one step away from a true family member. But yeah, it happens. The reality is my numbers say that over 78% of the kids that are transferred up play less. When that happens and they have NFL aspirations, their chances to make it actually go down, not up. And sometimes they transfer back to the same level. But the reality is less snaps means less film, means less productivity, and less of a chance. For the other, whatever that is, 12%, man, that could work really well. However, they're being compensated really well to play less. And therein lies the choice that families make. They all think they are the exception, and we're the 12%. And I don't know what the numbers are this year. So put that in context of my last data, which was a year ago. But the reality, I won't judge. It's not fair for me to do that. Some families, with that kind of money put in front of them, and maybe they haven't had much, that's life-changing money.
Yep.
And so I'm not judging, and I don't want our listeners to think that I am.
Right.
There's
Right.
just the facts they have to sort through.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well said. I mean, that's their situations. You talk about the handlers. I'm looking at a kid who literally put his agent's phone number in his bio on his Twitter, and it's Norm Chow's son, and he's got the phone number right in there as far as you need to contact them. How do you handle that? Because these kids now, which was unheard of when you first got into it, literally talk about their agents.
Yeah. Luckily, at Utah State, and I would say the level that I'm coaching, which is a great level, less in dealing with agents. Still some, but really, in my context, I just won't. I'll deal with the family and the player, but I just won't. And so, that can hurt, but ultimately, young people and families need to be involved, nurture, guide, direct, and help. And I'm just not quite willing to go to that place, and nor do I need to at this point yet.
You know what you need to do is talk to your offensive coordinator and your position coaches, whether it's running back, tight end, receivers coaches, because if they're not splicing that catch into the game film this week, they're just not doing their job.
It's an amazing thing. So here is the ball being thrown toward the sideline. I'm in the game, and there's a commentary playing out in my head. It's like, okay, it's coming right to me. Do I get out of the way? No, that wouldn't be good. Okay, I got gloves on. Am I going to try to catch this? And what if I don't? Right, that's going to be bad. so then, okay, I'm going to catch it. But then how do you react after? So I tried to show no expression, like I'm used to doing that, and it wasn't that big a deal. But by doing that, it became a big deal.
Yep.
So it wasn't. There was just no way to win.
I think a simple wink to your players would have been. That's how it's done, guys.
Totally.
Right there.
Yeah, it was totally. Yeah, I'm going to use that in the future if I ever choose to do that again.
If you can touch it, you can catch it, guys. Remember that. If you can touch it, you can catch it, even if you're wearing oven mitts.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Thanks, Bronco. We appreciate it.
All right.
All right. There's Bronco Mendenhall, Utah State football coach. Nice win, took care of business, and now there it is, PK. The next win is bowl eligibility. And
Two words.
Bowl eligible. Which would be a big deal, and that would be great.
Absolutely.
But the thing about it is that, and I'm a little surprised you're not more into this, but you're tempering your expectations, but be bold. And I know there's 7 teams that are thinking it right now, and obviously 5 of them are going to be wrong. But there's 7 teams thinking, why not us? San Diego State and Boise have 1 loss, and then you got 5 teams with 2 losses. And San Diego State is at Boise State.
It's too early to be worrying about that. Utah State doesn't need to be worrying about that. That'll take care of itself if you take care of biz.
Well, I do think that the whole cliche style makes the fight. Vegas gives up big plays, and if there's one thing Utah State does, they make big plays, both in the run game and the pass game. Yeah. So this could.
But I thought New Mexico was a winnable game, and they got smoked.
I did. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I think Bronco probably did underestimate a little of the energy going back in there. Even though the logic was right, it's new players, it's new coach, what does it matter? But the energy was there, and they fed off it.
Yeah,
the fans.
Absolutely.
They hate them. The team fed off it. The fans brought it.
Yeah.
Right. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.